dude. So like the second DLC, the Indigo Disc, has to be like some of the hardest fights I've actually had in playing Pokemon.
Oh wow.
The whole thing is actually like set up around double battles,
Hmm.
and there's like the whole Pokedex is basically built around Pokemon that have really good synergy with other ones. And there was one team I fought that was so fucking busted. The fight took me 15 minutes,
Oh,
Oh,
and it was
jeez.
just a regular trainer. The whole thing was like he had it was an Alola Sandslash, so steel and ice for with a dugong, ice and water that could heal each other and protect each other. And it was hard to tell when which one was going to do what. So I finally had to resort to letting them attack my Ogerpon, which has a move called Spiky Shield, which is like protect, but it does damage. And just rely on that to finally whittle the fuckers down, because every time I seemed to attack, they would protect each other. So it was a pain in the ass. Some of them were pretty tough, but I finally figured out two wombo combos that worked out pretty well. Like my, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was asked what they
I'm sorry. You broke up there. I didn't hear you.
I was just going to ask, what did they end up being?
So one of them was my Hisuian Typhlosion, which is a ghost fire type, and I love him to death. His name's Calcifer. Along with Newt. That's it, because dude, he's a ghost. He's a little ghost flame. So I was like, that's fucking perfect. But I had him, and I have my Dachshund, which is one of the new fairy types. That's a little dachshund made out of bread. And Dachshund has a really cool ability called Well-Baked Body, where if he gets hit with a fire attack, he doesn't take damage. Instead, his defense goes through the fucking roof.
He's been well baked.
That's it. And he has a really cool move in his repertoire called Body Press, which is a fighting type move that the higher your defense is, the more damage it does. So I would have him and Typhlosion out there use Lava Plume, which hits everything with fire, including Neutron, and he would just defense would go out the roof, and we would just body press people into oblivion. The other one was my Vaporeon and a Clodsire, the new water absorber. And basically I would use Surf with Vaporeon, hit everybody with water attacks, including Clodsire, who would be healed by the water attack. And they were pretty good, especially for taking down anything that had like a ground weakness, a poison weakness, or ice or water, because my Vaporeon's defense was so high that even when he got hit by earthquake, it just didn't even bother her. She was just like, oh, cool.
Jesus.
Kept on chugging.
You just said a magical word.
Was that?
When she got hit. That's a fucking 12.5% chance at a female, my friend.
And what's
It makes
funny,
breeding Eevees difficult.
dude, it's crazy because like I got her as one of the terror raids. They had one a while back where you could get an Eevee with the mightiest mark. There are Pokemon in the game that have these what's called a mark, and usually it gives them a title, and also might mean their stats are different. And if you get one with the mightiest mark, that means it's the strongest that thing can possibly be. So I had the strongest that possibly could be female Eevee that I turned into a Vaporeon, because I already had an Umbreon, and Vaporeon's my second favorite. And she can tank anything. She has like 320 defense.
Jesus.
And then she hits acid armor. It's like goes up to like 370. Yeah, like those two were really good with that. Then I had pretty good backups with like Sally, who's one of the new Pokemon I picked up. That's the Palmy line. It's basically the Pikachu clone for this generation. It starts out as a little electric mouse, then it turns into Palmo, and then it turns into Palmot. And Palmot is electric fighting and hits like a fucking truck.
I'd imagine they'd be speedbagging your ass with that speed.
Pretty much. She like her special ability is called Iron Fist, so all her punching moves are super strong. So I just taught her all punching moves and just let her speed back, motherfuckers.
But is she defending Kunlun right now?
She might be.
She is the Iron Fist.
There's a lot of really cool ones. They even gave some old Pokemon new evolutions, like Duraludon, the Steel Dragon from Sword and Shield. Like, got a new evolution where now it turns into a railgun.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. Like, let me pull it up.
Also, I just want to say, Pokemon is literally a game about teaching an old dog new tricks.
I mean, it is. It's like, some people bitch about whenever they do that, but I'm like, dude, they took a Pokemon I loved and gave it a whole new form. This is fucking great.
They've changed up the gameplay of that Pokemon and made it a reconsideration. It's almost like real life and animals having differences among species.
Mm-hmm. Like, check out Stream Visuals. That's the new evolution.
God damn! That bitch is literally built to cannon.
I wish I had an image of it, like, because whenever it does a special attack, it leans forward on all fours, and its back lights up with electrical arcs. So it literally looks like a railgun firing.
Ugh. Or a little bit of
building guy.
Yeah.
Oh god, what happens when the building starts fighting Godzilla back?
That's the fun part. And hell, they made a Pokemon in this game that's actually a like 1-to-1 Godzilla clone.
Yeah. Also, that Pokemon initially came out when Dynamax was a thing, which is when they grow really big, and that form literally referenced skyscrapers.
Yup. Like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, like if you had one that had Gigantamax, they would turn into this Joker right here. I didn't get one till late, but I loved him. That thing could just like beat the shit out of everybody.
Beat the shit out of everybody. I'm pretty sure all it needs to do is fall over and everybody dies.
I'm glad they turned this one into a staple remover.
He's just so cool. That's what I really enjoy. I was happy to see him. My favorite so far, though, and I might have screwed myself up out of getting a special one, was they gave a new evolution to Applin, which is a cute little Pokemon they introduced in Sword and Shield that is a grass dragon type that is an apple.
It's a living apple.
A living apple.
Oh.
Depending on which apple, you can give them a sweet apple or I think a tart apple. And depending on how you do that, they'll either evolve into Apple Ton, which is like a tanky little fucker, or Flapple, which is a flying version of it.
Yep.
This time they gave them Diplin, which is a candied apple version of him. Who, if you teach a certain move to it and level it up, it will evolve into Hydrapple, which is a goddamn monster.
I hear this, but at this point, the semantic satiation for the word apple has hit the roof.
Yeah.
And at this point, all I'm hearing is the ProZD Magic the Gathering video. And now I throw down cow in defense. And that allows me to pull 2 more cheeses thanks to the Grand Cheese Treasury that I played earlier. Ugh.
There we go. There's Hydrapple right there.
Oh, neat.
Oh, this apple's got a worm in it.
Got all the worms.
Applin
Yes.
is the worm.
Yeah.
Like when I realized that,
But it's spelled with a Y.
I was like, that's fucking clever.
That was a joke.
The Applin is the worm, but it's spelled with a Y.
Exactly. I do kind of wish I could get the shiny version, because the shiny version has a gold apple with a Granny Smith apple on his horn. It looks really cool. The only complaint I've actually had about this game, if I had two, the fact that it runs a little wonky, and then also the second DLC, while there's a lot of fun stuff to do and a lot of cool new Pokemon, the story's not as good as the first DLC. Like, I kind of thought I knew where they were going with it, but then they just kind of went this really weird, kind of tacked on feeling way with it. Like, you end up going to another school called Blueberry Academy. You get there and it's like the guy explains, "Oh yeah, we can do the terrestrializing where you can change the Pokemon's type here because I have this big orb on top of the school that lets you do it." And I was like, "Oh, that's neat."
Wasn't there already a system to do that though? I guess it
Eh,
was more tedium.
I'm not 100% sure because I know like we could do it in Kitagami because of the crystals in the Ogre Mountain. You could do it in Paldea because Paldea has the crystals. But they said basically, he's like, we brought this big crystal here, we got it up top. I kind of thought that was going to be like, it was going to turn out like they had the new legendary trapped up in that crystal or some shit. But no, you literally just go back to Area 0 and you find the new legendary and
Like Sword
oh,
and Shield.
kind of, yeah. I was like, oh, there it is. Because I got there and like the first thing you do in the Indigo Disc is like you fight the new Academy's Elite Four. And I was like, oh,
The first thing.
like one of the first thing you show up, they're like, you have like a rematch with Carmine, you have a rematch with her, and then like they convince you to join or to fight the Elite Four. So you fight the Elite Four, and you gotta do like a little trial for each one. Then you get to fight them, and then you fight the champion, and then you do the rest of the DLC. So it's actually kind of short, but there's cool stuff to do. Like they added what they call the BBQ system, which is kind of like a little quest you can do while at the school, and you use it to unlock more Pokemon, and you also use it to unlock stuff for like your club room and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun fooling with that stuff.
Hey, BB, I got a cue for you.
Hey, BB!